I want to transport you back to a very specific moment.
Are the founders of this tiny, struggling startup called Netflix.
And struggling is putting it mildly.
Yeah. I mean, they were just bleeding cash, losing about $57 million a year. And they had this clunky model of, mailing DVDs to people. They were desperate.
So Reed Hastings, the Netflix founder, he takes a deep breath and he makes his pitch. He offers to sell Netflix to Blockbuster for $50 million.
Which, on paper, it makes sense. Netflix would just become Blockbuster's online arm.
Right. And the response from Blockbuster, the CEO didn't just say no. According to the accounts, the room actually struggled not to laugh.
They thought it was a joke.
A complete joke. It's just painful to think about now.
It's one of the biggest oops moments in corporate history. Because you fast forward just 10 years, a single decade, and Blockbuster is filing for bankruptcy.
They went from thousands of stores to literally one. That one in Bend, Oregon, which is basically a tourist trap now.
Meanwhile, Netflix has, 167 million subscribers. They're winning Oscars. They've completely rewired how we consume entertainment.
So the question we're really unpacking today isn't just what happened, it's how. How did this company with no money, no resources get this done?
Right, because it's easy to shout the internet or streaming, but that's kind of the lazy answer.
It is. The technology was there for everyone. Blockbuster could have built a streaming service. They had the money.
The difference wasn't the tech stack, it was the culture stack.
Exactly. And that's why we're diving into No Rules by Reed Hastings and Erin Meyer. The book is basically the blueprint for that culture.
And the central argument is, well, it's pretty wild. They claim they won because they prioritize people over process to an extreme degree.
Right. They built this system where if you follow the logic, the ultimate goal is to have no rules at all.
But, and this is the really crucial part, you can't just walk into a normal office, burn the rule book, and expect magic to happen.
Oh, God, no. That would be chaos.
Total chaos. Bankruptcy in a month. Netflix had to build a very specific type of machine before they could take the brakes off.
And the construction of that machine, it didn't start with some happy brainstorming session. It started with a total disaster.
You're talking about the 2001 dot-com crash.
Yeah, the funding just completely dried up. Nobody was investing in unprofitable tech companies anymore. It sounds terrifying.
Right, so they had to cut costs and fast. Hastings had to lay off 1/3 of the entire company.
30% of the staff just gone in a day.
Now, here's where the story gets really counterintuitive.
Because I've been through layoffs. Usually the weeks after are just awful. Morale hits rock bottom. Everyone's looking over their shoulder.
Right. And Hastings was bracing for exactly that. He thought the remaining people would just be miserable.
But that's not what happened. A few weeks later, he looked around and the office, it wasn't somber. It was buzzing.
The energy was actually higher. The ideas were better. They were getting more done with fewer people.
They had stumbled onto the first pillar of their culture, talent density. But the interesting part is who they fired.
It wasn't just the people who were bad at their jobs. That's easy.
Yeah, you fire incompetent people, of course. They fired the people who were just fine.
The adequate employees, the ones who show up, do what they're told, are perfectly nice to talk to, but they just don't, drive things forward.
It sounds so harsh, doesn't it? Firing the nice, adequate person just because they're not a superstar.
It does. But their logic is that adequate people are actually dangerous to a high-performance team.
How so?
Well, think about it energetically. If you have a team of 5 rock stars and 2 adequate workers, the rock stars spend a huge amount of their time just managing the adequate ones.
Right. They're explaining things twice, double-checking work.
Or they just get dragged down by the slower pace of discussion. It saps energy.
There's this great study that proves this, the bad apple experiment.
Oh, I love this one.
So they took teams of college students, gave them a group task, but they planted an actor in some of the teams to sabotage them. And the actor played one of 3 roles.
The 3 archetypes of office doom.
Exactly. First, you had the slacker. This guy would literally put his feet on the table and text during the meeting.
Glossy.
Then you had the jerk, who'd make sarcastic comments like, wow, did you actually go to business school?
Ouch. And the third one?
The third one is the most insidious, the depressive pessimist.
Ah, yes. The person who just sighs and complains and acts like nothing is going to work anyway.
And the result of the study is just shocking. Having just one of those types in a group dropped the team's performance by 30 to 40%.
30 to 40%. That is a massive tax on productivity.
Yeah.
Just from one person.
And it was the depressive pessimist who was the most damaging.
It proves that mediocrity and negativity are contagious. The superstars eventually stop trying so hard. They think, why am I killing myself when Dave over there is just coasting?
So Netflix just decided no more Daves.
Exactly. They want a workplace where every single person is a stunner. But that leads to a logistical problem. Stunners are expensive.
They are, but Netflix makes the argument that they're actually a bargain.
This gets into the rockstar principle.
Right. From that Santa Monica study, they had 9 trainee programmers in a basement, coding and debugging. The researchers expected the best one to be, maybe twice as good as the worst?
That's the standard assumption, yeah. In the industrial world, if you're laying bricks, a superstar is maybe 2 times better. There's a physical limit.
But coding isn't laying bricks. The study found the best programmer was 20 times faster at coding.
20 times.
And 25 times faster at debugging than the worst one.
It's exponential. Bill Gates has that famous quote that a great software coder is worth 10,000 times the price of an average one.
So Netflix's math is simple. It's cheaper to hire 1 rock star and pay them double the market rate than to hire 10 average people.
You get more output, less management overhead, and this is the key. You maintain that talent density.
But maintaining it,
yeah,
that's the hard part. And this is where the Netflix philosophy gets really uncomfortable for a lot of people.
This is where they reject that metaphor that so many companies love. We are a family.
Oh, you hear that at every all-hands meeting? We're a family here.
And it sounds warm and fuzzy, but Netflix says, no, that's a lie. Because in a family, you don't fire your sister for not hitting her KPIs.
You don't kick your drunk uncle out of Thanksgiving dinner, you tolerate him.
Exactly. Families are about unconditional love. Netflix says, if you want to win, you can't be a family. You have to be a professional sports team.
And that distinction is crucial. On a pro team, everyone supports each other. Sure, there's camaraderie, but
you trade players, you're always trying to get the best person in every single position. The goal is the championship, not just keeping everyone on the roster.
And they have a system for this that, frankly, scares the hell out of most HR departments.
The keeper test.
This is the part of the book where I actually felt a knot in my stomach. The keeper test is a question that managers are supposed to ask themselves about every single employee, all the time.
The question is, if this person told me today they were quitting for another job, would I fight hard to keep them?
And if the answer is no, if you'd actually feel a little bit of relief, then the mandate is fire them now.
Don't wait for an annual review. Don't put them on a PIP.
That just sounds incredibly ruthless. Imagine working where you know your boss is constantly asking that question about you.
It creates pressure, for sure. But Netflix argues the anxiety in most companies comes from the unknown. It comes from that agonizing slow-motion firing process called a performance improvement plan.
The PIP. It's basically corporate theater. Everyone knows what's happening.
It's humiliating. Netflix just skips the theater. They say, look, you're not a keeper anymore. Here's a massive severance package, 4 to 6 months of full pay. Go find a job where you can be a star.
I guess getting 6 months pay changes the equation a lot.
It does. They call it firing well. But for this whole sports team model to work, you need people to be brutally honest with each other.
Which brings us to pillar number 2, radical candor.
You have to create an environment where feedback is constant and immediate.
There's a great little story about this with speed signs in Gun Grove, California. It perfectly shows why the annual performance review is such a waste of time.
I love this example. So you have a neighborhood near a school. People are constantly speeding. The police try everything. They put up signs.
Ignored.
They issue tickets. People get mad, but they keep speeding.
It's that classic command and control failure. You tell people what to do, they ignore you.
Then some engineers install those dynamic digital signs, the ones that flash your actual speed at you as you drive by. 25. 30, 35.
And speeding dropped by 14%, almost overnight.
Because of the feedback loop. It was real-time and undeniable. When you see 35 flashing in red, you instinctively hit the brakes. Corporate feedback is like getting a ticket 6 months later. It's useless.
But there's a danger here. If you just tell everyone, be honest, you can end up with a bunch of brilliant jerks running around insulting each other.
Right. Hey, your presentation was garbage. Just being honest. That doesn't work.
So to solve that, they created the 4A feedback guidelines.
A framework to stop candor from becoming toxicity.
I found these really useful, even just for, life. The first 2 are for the person giving the feedback. First, aim to assist.
You have to ask yourself, am I saying this to help them? Or just to vent my own frustration?
Great distinction. You pick your nails is venting. Picking your nails in a meeting distracts from your professional message is assisting.
And the second one is actionable. You can't just say that was bad. You have to suggest what could be done differently.
Then you have the 2 A's for receiving feedback, which is arguably harder.
Much harder. Number 3 is appreciate. Our natural instinct is to get defensive. You have to train yourself to fight that and just say, thank you for that data.
But the 4th one, this is the game changer for me. Accept or discard.
This is what gives people autonomy. At Netflix, you are required to listen to feedback. You are not required to follow it.
You're the captain of your own ship. You can hear your boss out and then respectfully say, thanks, but I'm going to stick with my plan.
It takes guts. But it sets the stage for the final, most radical part of the culture. Once you have a team of rock stars,
Talent density.
and they're constantly giving each other feedback,
Radical candor.
then you can finally do the thing everyone wants. Remove the controls.
This is the no rules part of no rules rules. The vacation policy, or the lack of one, is the most famous example.
And when I hear unlimited vacation, I usually roll my eyes.
Me too. It's usually a trap. It just becomes a contest of who can take the least time off.
And Reed Hastings was terrified of that. He had 2 nightmares. Nightmare 1,
Mm-hmm.
everyone goes to the beach all summer and the company collapses.
Nightmare 2. Without a set number of days, people get too scared to take any time off, and they all burn out.
But neither happened. Why?
Context and modeling. Reed didn't just delete the policy. He started making a huge deal out of his own vacations.
Right, he'd send photos from hiking trips. He'd talk about the 6 weeks he was taking off. He signaled to the tribe, it is safe to leave.
It's leading with context, not control. I love the parenting analogy they use for this.
Oh, it's perfect. The difference between how you treat a toddler and how you treat a teenager.
So if your teenager's going to a party, the control method is to lock them down. You track their phone, you call the other parents, you set a 9 p.m. curfew.
And we all know how that ends. The kid sneaks out and doesn't call you when they get in trouble.
Exactly. The context method is harder. You sit them down. You explain the dangers of drunk driving. You explain the risks. You explain why you're worried.
And then you say, I trust you to make good choices. Call me if you need anything.
Because the goal isn't just to control them for one night. The goal is to build a human who makes good decisions when you're not in the room.
And that's it. Netflix treats its employees like adults. They provide the context, the strategy, the risks, the budget, and then they trust them to make the call.
Which moves decision-making from, like,